If you are too heavy, you are judged. If you're too light, you're judged. If you're healthy, you're judged. If you don't drink, you're judged. If you drink, you're judged. So you're judged all the time. And this is also a part of judgment, and that's all that we should consider this to be. It's up to us. If we are, I mean, as women, I say that, yes, I mean, nobody has obviously upfront come to me and said that you are in sales, why are you doing? But indirectly, people have mentioned things like that.
As a marketing person, you will be expected to lead the P&L, you will be and innovation is like just one section of what you're doing. You're expected to do communication development, life cycle management of a product, etc. So what happens as you grow? वैसे देखा जाए तो I was a brand manager then, I'm still a brand manager now.
In marketing, you tell a story which is aired on television, you tell a story through a very documented process, it goes through copy review, it is planned, and the same story is played 1,000 times. But in sales, the same story has to be repeated by you 1,000 times to different customers. So I think the story remains the same, but the medium of conveying is different.
बस जॉब चल रही है यार.
जब जॉब और करियर बस चलता है देन दिस इज हाउ द एंटायर डे लुक्स लाइक. करियर को बस चलाओ नहीं भगाओ भी. लॉग ऑन टू alltuni.in. Earn more at your current job or get a new one that does. Learn from experts, work on life industry projects and get high paying job opportunities. Find the link in description.
It is a world which you don't understand. There's a lot of respect and a lot of purpose. So I think the first 6 months are all just about understanding that purpose, understanding the larger picture, and understanding the impact that your products can have on the patient.
Vasudha, what happens is primarily what we see, sales is a male-dominated field, right? It has always been, and there is a lot of talk that also is there, whether that hypothesis works or not, right? Have you ever faced something of this sort in your life where somebody has told you, coming up front, that आप क्या कर रहे हो मैडम, ये तो हमारा काम है?
There are a lot of unconscious biases that exist in the world today, and they're not just for women in sales, but there are, when you go in India, people will ask you your surname. They'll start, understanding what kind of a person you are just by listening to your surname. That happens with all males, females, everybody. If you are too heavy, you are judged. If you're too light, you're judged. If you're healthy, you're judged. If you don't drink, you're judged. If you drink, you're judged. So you're judged all the time. And this is also a part of judgment, and that's all that we should consider this to be. It's up to us. If we are, as women, I say that, yes, nobody has obviously upfront come to me and said that you are in sales, why are you doing? But indirectly, people have mentioned things like that. I think, number one, I would give credit to the organization and the peers I work with. I have never felt out of place internally. So, and it's to all the males sitting over here who will join the sales force sometime in future. Make sure that your female colleagues feel welcomed and inclusive and, just as much a part of the team as you are. So, fortunately, that has worked for me. And secondly, to all the women sitting over here, that it is all in our mind. If we think we are different, we will be different. If we think we are same, we'll be same. So don't think that you are different. You are there because you deserve to be there. You are there because you can add value and probably a different perspective which other males can't. So the difference is in our mind, and it's for us to break it or not. So that's all I have to say.
Superb. I personally feel that, a profession cannot be defined by a gender. You guys are a testament to that, right? Has there been any such stories where you have been to places where you can't even locate yourself on Google Maps?
Oh, yes. So this was in 2011. I was in Tamil Nadu, and my project was mapping, supply chain or a distributor network in across Tamil Nadu, and I went to every district. And there were certain places where, of course, that was 2011. I hope things have changed today, but there were certain places where there was no Google Maps. So, and I was at places where I got bills in Tamil and I had to rely on people to tell me how much it is. There were places where I practically needed a translator who was hardly any good, right, to translate the language. But every place I have enjoyed thoroughly. I have seen, so I've experienced things which I never thought I would be able to experience. I never thought I wanted that. I never thought I will enjoy it. But when I was in it, I felt that, wow, I love it. So we may, life throws many things at us. And a lot of times things don't go the way you plan it. But I think when they don't go the way you plan, you learn the most. And I, Matli, have been surprised by the various experiences that I've had, which I never thought I would, but I did. So I think, yes, I've had coconut water. One thing which I learned in Tamil Nadu is you have coconut water directly from the coconut without a straw or a cup. That's how they have it. I've been to restaurants where there were no spoons. There was just dosa and idli and sambar, and you eat it. Like when you ask for a spoon, you're like, are you an alien? So those kind of things have happened. And it's fun. I thought I'll write a book called Dosa Diaries, but it never saw the day. But yeah, it was very eventful.
Okay, let's move to you, Saba. You are a marketing manager here, right? And you've spent, 10, 12 years now? That's a lot of years to be in a company.
It doesn't make me feel old at all.
Not
Please
at
go
all.
on.
Okay. Super. So in these 10 years that you have been working here, tell me a little bit about, give a glimpse of how your roles changed, right? How do you start in an organization and how do you grow in these 10 years?
So I started my stint in HR. So I did 2 months of HR. It was a great experience. And then I moved to sales. I did a Middle India stint, same story. I don't think I had Google Maps then actually, back in 2012, or I didn't have it on my phone, whatever. But yeah, so did the sales stint. Then I did a small stint in marketing, and then we become product manager, which is what I was in Stay Free. Now, obviously, you get promoted, you become a product manager, you go to a senior product manager. Now, what changes is the responsibility that you start handling. So I started working with that small one part of new product development, which is actually a very small part of the overall marketing, right? As a marketing person, you will be expected to lead the P&L, you will be and innovation is like just one section of what you're doing. You're expected to do communication development, life cycle management of a product, etc. So what happens as you grow? वैसे देखा जाए तो I was a brand manager then. I'm still a brand manager now. What has changed is the expansion of the work that you are doing.
So I have a question here.
Yeah.
If somebody has to categorize between a brand manager and a product manager that you wear, or a group manager that you wear, how do you do that?
For us, we are all product managers. Like brand manager is a word that we use so that everyone relates to it. But so what happens? Johnson's Baby is a brand, but there are multiple products and each product is huge. So we have Johnson's Baby soap, oil, lotion, etc. All of these products, they are so big and everything has a very, very different strategy. You need different managers. You need different managers to handle it. That is why everyone is called a product manager. So how the designations work are product manager, senior product manager, group product manager, and then a marketing manager, which you are right now. Everything is obviously brand management because you are handling a part of the brand. Okay, so as I mentioned, right, one thing that I can't stress enough is how close you need to be to the consumer. So when I was in Johnson's, we had launched this new brand called Johnson's Cotton Touch. Now that was a very unique thing because it was we have been in India for almost 60 years with Johnson's Baby, and that was the first time that we had launched a brand within it, which is called Johnson's Cotton Touch. So like a very historical moment. It was launched in the middle of pandemic. The first wave, we were trying to work from home. I can only say trying because I didn't have a clue कि कैसे काम करना है. And
Sales and marketing वाले कैसे घर बैठ के काम करेंगे?
Exactly. And marketing, right? You have to meet people. And there's this launch 2 months away. And I am sitting in Patna trying to manage. As brand managers, your primary job, everything that you do, it has to be, what you do has to just meet the stature of the brand. If the brand requires, you do it. The other thing is within that, right, what we were trying to figure, so Johnson's Cotton Touch was a product that was launched specially towards a first-time parent. Why? Because while working, we realized that when you become a parent for the first time, you spend those 8-9 months just imagining how it would be to hold a baby. And you imagine that the baby will be very delicate and sensitive and soft. But when you hold the baby for the first time, it is way beyond you had imagined. So it's like softness you've never experienced before. And because we found that, essentially that became the entire brand idea. And I love that campaign, Paul, because it fit perfectly with what we were trying to do with Cotton Touch. It was also a unique product because it had cotton, etc. But how seamless the story is. And honestly, parents, like Vasudha, I know, is a new mom, and she doesn't care कि आपको क्या बेचना है. She doesn't care आपके product में cotton है. She cares if you tell her a story, and if you give her this insight in your communication, that's when she will listen to you. Otherwise, she'll be like, I have to sleep. I've got the time, I'm not going to watch your ad. And I think that's the difference. That's one thing that I've learned. People don't get up in the morning thinking, I have to buy a deo, I have to buy a face wash. They get up in the morning saying, I have to go to college, I have to study, I have to be successful. And if you bring that and tell them about some story, they will be listening. And I think listening and creating stories is the one thing that I believe in. That's what makes all marketing campaigns successful or unsuccessful.
Superb. Is that the same case with sales also, Vasudha? Do you have to be a storyteller if you are in sales?
Yes, I think so. When in marketing, you tell a story which is aired on television. You tell a story through a very documented process. It goes through copy review. It is planned, and the same story is played 1,000 times. But in sales, the same story has to be repeated by you 1,000 times to different customers. So I think the story remains the same, but the medium of conveying is different. And when we say a story, it is no different because eventually it's all about solving a problem for your customer, whether you're solving a mom's problem of baby's dry skin, or you're solving a surgeon's problem of getting the right product in a cardiac surgery. It is essentially solving a problem. And if you're able to connect that in your story with your buyer, I'm saying buyer because consumer, buyer, and customer can be different. So if you do that with your buyer, then that's when there is a connection or an understanding. And that's when you and your company can be successful, I believe.
You have also worked with a lot of government projects, if I'm not wrong, right? What has that experience been? Because a person who's working in a private entity and working with the government, what has that experience been, if you can share?
A unique thing which Johnson & Johnson, MedTech, or any healthcare organization gives you is that health is a primary goal of the government also. It is, of course, there is state ministers who take decisions on that, and there is an investment, and there are certain goals, health goals, like reducing anemia in women, or reducing the maternal mortality rate, and all of those things. We reach out to the government and we tell them this is our product, and we work with them and tell them that if you use this product, then we will help you in achieving these goals. Your mothers can go back home more comfortable, or your babies will be healthier. So there are a lot of things that from a private organization we work with government. What you realize is that it's a completely different world. I think I'm not sure if there was no exposure to government. There was nobody I knew who was working in the government sector in my life, and therefore it was very, very new. And the way government works, the impact that you can create, the policies, everything I feel is a huge learning. And at the end of it all, the purpose with which you're meeting them, and when you're able to again solve a problem for the government, that's when there can be a successful partnership. So yes, it's a great experience. It's a great learning experience as well.
Superb. Saba, again, coming back to your association with J&J, 12 long years. What makes you turn up to office every day? What makes you, driven enough to continue doing what you're doing?
Okay. So first of all, Paul, 10 years makes me feel really old. I still feel 21. I really do. I still feel that I get up in the morning and I'm quite excited to go to work. And I think it's also because I have always a lot to learn. The only difference is that now also I get to learn from the younger people. And trust me, they have a lot to teach. But there are 3-4 things that I think. There's one principle that I had set for myself long back. If I have Monday blues, but they are restricted to Monday blues, and I'm not dreading the rest of the week, I think I'm in a good place. And if I'm able to sleep at night, because you are making a difference. And right, we both feel that we are making a difference in people's lives. And if that continues, that is something that has kept me going. The other thing is that when you enter the J&J office at Arena Space, and I hope some of you do get to enter that, you will see a towering credo, which basically tells who we are as Johnson & Johnson and what do we believe in. And I think there's a lot of values match that happens with the organization and me. And that's important, right? You can work in a place for a couple of years, but if you don't believe that you guys share the same set of DNA, you will not be able to have a long-time association. Obviously, there has been a tremendous career growth, a lot of opportunities. And the last thing is that people. J&J is a very people-focused company. I have got the best of friends there. I have met like brilliant people. And I look forward to going to office because I know there will be faces that I really want in my life. And I think that's why. That's why I get up on a Saturday morning, put on a sari, and I'm here because there are people who I want to see, and there are new people that I'm going to meet. So yeah, I feel it's just about beginning.
Lovely, great. Vasudha, I would like to conclude this particular session, with a question that I have for you. You know, sales is changing, definitely. The way we have perceived sales, or you have perceived, or you have started sales, has drastically changed, right? Changing times have told us that the reliance on digital is going to be more and more, right? As a salesperson, do you feel threatened, or you see this as opportunity? And what are the skills that people or students who are trying to get into this field should have right now to make a mark?
That's a very, very good question. I think this is a question which even organizations are trying to answer today, you know, the skills for the future. So, you know, there's a term called VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. So the world is VUCA right now. And it will continue to be, and it's changing at a very, very rapid pace. But people, products, needs, emotions, they will stay the same. Whether you go digital or you go analog, just for lack of another word, but it is still you're going to solve the same problem. The way you reach out to your consumer is going to be different. Digital gives you a lot of more opportunities, which you could never do in the past. The way data is available today, we all see completely customized ads. Sometimes I think of something in my mind and it is there on Instagram. I've not even uttered a word and I'm getting the ads. So yes, it is the opportunities are immense. I think it is definitely not a threat. It's opportunity because all of you are young. You will learn a lot of things. You will come back to you go to campus and you join organizations. People will want to listen from you as to what is it that keeps you going, what is the tech which, you know, the youth of today are listening to. You're also if you look at the entire population, you're the majority part of that, this particular, you know, classification. All companies want to reach out to you, they want to speak to you. The way we do business will change, but the ethos, the basis, the foundation will stay the same. So that's what I think.
One piece of advice for people who are interested in sales and marketing, what should they be looking at doing right now? Starting with you, Saba, and then we can conclude.
One, as I've been telling over and over again, really listen to people, listen what they have to tell you, and I think you will be good. The second is ask for help. There are a lot of times when you will feel overwhelmed, like the both of us did, and sometimes you will have people reach out to you and find out if you're doing fine. Sometimes they won't be able to. So just ask for help. Failing is okay, not knowing answers is okay, everything else is okay. Not asking for help is not okay. So just ask for help and reach out and you'll be fine, trust me.
So from my side, I think I completely agree with Saba. Failing is okay, asking for help is okay. So from sales and marketing or any career point of view, I feel that when you join your colleges and complete your MBA, there will be a lot of choices available to you. The only message I want to leave you all with is that whenever you take a decision about your first job or your next job, make sure you think about the career and not the job. Always think whether whatever change you're doing will impact over a period of 30, 40 years of career, or is it going to be just an immediate satisfaction? And basis that you take decisions about what you want to do in life, what you want to take up, and hopefully that will help you have a more fulfilling career. All the best to all of you.
If you have questions for them specifically, do feel free to ask these questions. This is a platform which allows you to ask these questions.
Hi. I had a question specifically for you, Vasudha. What excites you most about B2B sales, and do you feel like you're missing out by not being on the B2C side?
So, well, when I was in MBA, that was exactly what I thought of sales and marketing as well. And yes, I do feel that advertisements, everything is pretty glamorous. You know what the work you do is visible all across social media and television, whatever is the appropriate TG. So the selling in B2B requires a lot more skills, right? You will not, like I said, you will not one day wake up that I want to buy this perfume. It has to be whatever you're selling is going to be an input to another business, right? So that means it has to make a business sense, a product sense, and an emotional satisfaction as well. So the complexity in B2B selling is larger. Number two, when selling is or marketing is a lot about psychology of your consumer. And everything said and done, you put it all together in 30 seconds video or whatever, and it's there all over media, whatever format you use. Similarly, B2B is also about psychology of a very, very mature buyer. They are looking at multiple parameters. It is not about because the decision is going to impact is going to have a larger impact. So the buyer is mature, and therefore you have to really, when you talk about giving a value proposition of certain thing, then that is exactly what you do in B2B sales. And I think that is what motivates me, because eventually you're able to actually see the impact. When you're selling a product, and we sell products and we say that your surgical site infection will go down. That means the number of days a patient stays in hospital will go down. That means they can go back home faster. Can you imagine the impact that we're creating? So that is what really motivates me every day, and in being in healthcare space. B2B, of course, is a completely different space. It's not glamorous, but it's very interesting world.
Superb. I can go on and on asking you guys questions because I really like this conversation and chatter, but I don't think we have the time. So for the interest of time and to keep this flow going, I would have to let you guys go. Thank you very much for joining us today. Give them a big round of applause, guys.
You must be thinking another pre-roll? Wait, let me just skip it. With Altuni, there are some boring things which you can avoid, like the long wait for promotions or increments, or the numerous interviews before you land your dream job. At Altuni, we make sure that you're future ready and skilled to be in the top 0.5% class. Click on the link in the description now.